up, y'all? Welcome back. And we're back with the fellas again, and we're breaking down weeks 5 through 9. We're going to break down, we got that bye week in week 6, so we're going to go ahead and break down the next 4 games, which is 5 through 9. So we'll start off with the Jacksonville Jaguars at home, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this on the
Yeah.
So we're going to Jacksonville, right? Okay, so we're Jacksonville Jaguars on the road in Jacksonville. You know, we get to see the 2 of the top 3 picks, you know, kind of score off when you got Trayvon Walker on one side, and you got Derek Stingley on the other side. You know, which defensive player will perform the best, you know, as far as hype, you know, that can be a game I'm pretty sure they're going to talk about. But let's talk about the Jaguars in general, who is a much improved team.
Yeah.
Do they have the talent advantage over the Texans? I think they do. Just based on what they brought in via free agency, via the draft. I mean, they made some crazy picks, you know, in the draft, as well as they upgraded a head coach.
Yeah.
You know, which is for me, they upgraded tremendously at head coach. So I feel like they're going to be more organized. I think you're going to see an improved Trevor Lawrence. They gave him weapons, you know, even though people don't consider them top flight weapons, they're still better weapons than what he had on the field last year. So you get NTN back, you get Christian Kirkin, you get Sheriff at the guard position. You know, you get was it Evan Ingram at tight end?
Yeah.
You know, you upgrade those positions for, you know, a second-year quarterback. So he will be much more improved, and I feel like he'll be a gamer. This is to me, this is going to be one of the closest games we have all season in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
And it may come down to maybe field goal game, but I do feel like the Texans I feel like they'll pull the game out. I feel like the Texans will pull that game out. I want to count that as a win. And, you know, kind of galvanize the team in a sense. You know, I think this will be one of those good feeling wins going into a bye.
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, so I agree, AD. I think, you know, when you go down the roster and you kind of look at all the additions and anything that they kind of turned over and revamped any position, you know, Trevor Lawrence is hopefully, I think for the sake of the entire NFL, especially for the Jaguar fans and franchise, you hope he takes a step forward, you know, and he kind of goes into that next tier a little bit closer to Davis Mills. So and then you take a look at their running back situation. ETN is no joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna have ETN and James Robinson, you know, sharing time in the backfield, and that might be a very sweet, like, 1-2 punch for years in the NFL. And you know, worst case scenario, ETN is a good receiver. You know, with tight end Evan Ingram, Dan Arnold, Luke Farrell, like that trio that they have at tight end doesn't scare me much, but it's similar to what the Texans have. You know, if you looked at the Texans on paper, you'd kind of be like, these are just like some guys, you know, but we think highly of Brevin Jordan, right?
Yeah.
With wide receivers, it's one of those, like, there's not an alpha, and there is a bunch of pretty good number 2 wide receivers on their team. Yeah. That's just kind of like what their entire wide receiver room is made up of. I still think Shenault is the most talented receiver in that group. Like, he's just like the most physically gifted, I feel like, of all of them. And he shows it on the field. Decent offensive line. You know, they added Luke Fortner, who maybe will start. Defensive linemen, I mean, they play a bunch of big guys up front, you know, so no one who's like necessarily noteworthy. Outside linebackers is where you want to have the conversation. Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, Jordan Smith, Caleb Von Chason. Please, like, if you have that many high draft picks at that position, you have to find a way to make it work. You have to. And if you don't, it's just like, why is this franchise in the NFL? Inside linebackers, they just, who cares who else is on the team? They added Devin Lloyd and Chad Muma.
Yeah.
That's like ignorant. You know what I'm saying? So this will be a hard team to run against. Cornerbacks, Tyson Campbell and Shaquille Griffin. Great. Andre Cisco is their most notable safety, I feel like. I think we kicked their fucking ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, hopefully Trevor Lawrence makes it a deal and he wants to throw the ball so that we can intercept it. But I mean, like, this is a win, man. And we're going into the bye week. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're bummed because the Chargers just kicked our ass the week prior, but we feel good because we beat Indy, and like, here's our opportunity to maybe lead the division.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So if we get this win in Jacksonville, we're talking about leading the division going into the bye week. And that feels much better than being last place in the division and going into the bye week.
Yeah. So, and I feel like I've been talking up Jacksonville for, a minute on the spaces, but, I think it's time that, when you really look at the roster and shit, I mean, we have better weapons outside than them. I think our tight end room is, like you were saying, the same. I think our offensive line is decent. You know what I mean? It's decent and serviceable. I think the running back room is decent. And I think the quarterback is a similar quarterback that they have. So, and then moving to the defense, I feel like our DBs are improved. Linebackers, depending on if Christian Harris is playing at this point, it might or might not be the same. I think the defensive line is improved. So personally, like, I always said that I think these games are going to be tough. I feel like Jacksonville Jaguars are consistently just underachieving. But I think that this is a game that, I think we should win this game. I do like Trayvon Walker, and I think Josh Allen is good. And I think, Chase On is good and all that shit. But I just think that this is a game that, every improvement that you could say that they had, I think you could also say that we had. I think we upgraded the coach. We upgraded the OC. You know what I'm saying? I think our offensive line is upgraded. I think our defensive line is upgraded. So when I'm looking at this, from the outside looking in, I think we should, there is a possibility that we still can sweep the Jags. So, like, yeah, man, I think this is a win. I think we can win this game. So, yeah. So, at this point, going into the bye week, we are 3-2. 3-2.
Alternating wins and losses. Win, loss, win, loss, win.
Right. So, yeah, I think that would be a great start, to the season. And then we have, after the bye week, this is where a real kind of tough stretch of, out of division game starts. We will be in Las Vegas playing the Raiders. This game is gonna be a tough game. I like another new regime change. It's like, it seems like damn near outside of the first week, every team we played almost has a new coach outside of the Chargers, whatever. But yeah, so we're facing a team with Josh McDaniels led team. I think this will be different than his run in Denver. He also got his good friend, I guess, Patrick Graham running the defense, that is led with, Max Crosby and Chandler Jones now. Now, it's going to be a very multiple defense. I don't know who they have at corner. I know that it seems like they were secondary, with Damon Arnett, and it seems like it's been a revolving door at this point. Their defense isn't necessarily the scariest, in my opinion, if you can keep yourself in favorable, situations where you're not having to deal with the edge rush, right? You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say that I think that this is another game that we can win. We have to be efficient on offense. We have to score pretty much, I'm going to say, every time we touch the ball, and we have to sustain drives. If we can sustain long drives, we can win this game. But being realistic, they are more talented than us. They're more established than us. We will be relying on Derek Stingley and Petrie and to shut down Adams and Darren Waller, and then we would be relying on being able to stop the run. And they have two very physical running backs, and Zamir White has the speed to break it. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a high scoring game. I'm thinking that they end up scoring 30, and I think that we might not be able to keep up with them, in the end.
So for me, this is the game where Devontae Adams, this is the welcome to the NFL game for Derek Stingley. Devontae Adams comes out with Derek Carr and puts on the show. And, this is a game where he's going to go over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns type of game where he's going to kind of abuse the Texans secondary. And I think that Waller is another person that's going to come in and just go apeshit crazy with Derek Carr, because Derek Carr loves throwing to Waller. I feel like this is a welcome, welcome to the NFL for most of the rookies. So I mark this down as a loss. It can be competitive. It may be competitive, but I don't see us having the firepower enough to compete with them. And if our running game at this point is still underdeveloped, that's just going to make it even worse. And you can't rely on Davis Mills to he's not at a point at his career right now to be able to say, okay, kid, I want you to come in and win this game for us. He's not at that point in his career. Even though he's shown flashes, he can go toe to toe. He hasn't shown that he can put a team on his back yet. Even with this short amount of time, I don't think he's going to have the opportunity to put the team on his back and say, I'm going to win this game regardless. So I feel like this is one of those, tough losses, that came out of the schedule. I mean, that's a tough ass opponent to come and play out of the bye.
Yeah.
What you got, Bab?
Yeah, so I just wanted to look up real quick. I'm trying to see. So we play the Raiders
in Las Vegas, yeah.
In Las Vegas, week 7.
Yeah.
Who do the Raiders play?
Week 6.
Who do the Raiders play week 6? The Chiefs.
Yeah, it's a division game.
And it's a primetime game. So this game for me, the Raiders, and when I look at it, I give the Texans a win. And the reason so it I know it sounds tough because when you read through the Raiders roster, it's like, oh my God, like how? Like this is an established team. This is a playoff team, like a very obvious playoff team. Like they are like an AFC playoff team. Even just looking at their defensive line, the Raiders defensive line, fantastic, right? Their defensive backfield is fantastic. Then you get to the receivers, tight end room. Those are all great. But it's the guy throwing the ball, right? So Derek Carr has to be great all the time to get the ball to all these people, right? Okay. They still have to run the football. They have to mix it up. Everything has to be working really well, right? I've never thought that Derek Carr should be talked about in any upper echelon of quarterbacks, right? I really almost put Derek Carr in that Tannehill territory. You know what I'm saying? Where I think after this season, we start talking about Derek Carr as just kind of like a guy. You know what I'm saying? Because
would you say he's the Kirk Cousins of the AFC?
Okay.
That's a great comparison. Yeah. Like he's just pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a great comparison, AD. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. But yes. Yeah. If you put Kirk Cousins on the Raiders, they're the same team. So I think if you're going to have a winning season this year, you have to win this game. Like
Mhm.
this is the game you have to win, right? We're coming off of a bye week, and we get to watch the Raiders play Kansas City,
Mhm.
right? Okay. And then the Raiders might get crushed by Kansas City, right? Or come out high on fire, you know what I'm saying? Because they just dominated Kansas City, right? Either way, we have a really great opportunity to humble the Raiders, right? Okay. So I think it's a win only because, and we're going to go with the consensus. I think it's a win just because Lovey's going to get an entire week of just going, how can I get Derek Carr to fuck up? You know what I'm saying? Like, where can I throw Petrie on this shallow zone? Where can I get Stingley to like show man, go zone, come down, get an interception on a crossing route? You know, so anything, right? I really think Lovey is in his bag in this game, and we're going, wow, this defense is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have talent, but then you go back and you look at all the names we have to cover, and you look at all the people we have to pass block against, and it's not a good favorable matchup for us, right?
Yeah. Well, what's the interior of their defensive line like? I mean, I don't really know. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. So you know, Jonathan Hankins.
Okay, so he's like a nose.
Yeah. Cleveland Farrell. Kyle Pecco, Andrew Billings, Bilal Nichols, Max Crosby, and Chandler Jones.
So
it's a good defensive line.
So just looking at their schedule, this could be a trap game for them because they played Kansas City the week before, and they played the Saints.
That was mainly my thinking.
Yeah. They have the Saints the week after, so
I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like these edge rushers, you know, sometimes, man, you know, it's a finesse type of position sometimes. So maybe we could get something off Max Crosby. You know what I'm saying? So like you never know. I mean, that's why like I don't think that their defense is gonna be the reason why we lose. Like, because I mean, like the kind of defense that these New England type guys run, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't. I mean, what secondary players do they actually have? Like they don't have any. Their corners aren't the best. Like so starting from the beginning, Graham is gonna be kind of having to do something like I think he's a great defensive guy. You know, it's not the most favorable position for himself. You know what I mean? And I think that, I don't think it's going to be their defense. You know, I just wonder, like, can we get enough stops and bad? But I think the way you described it is a really, if we could get a couple extra possessions, you know what I mean? You know, maybe we held them to field goals a couple times.
Yeah.
And I mean,
they will get a takeaway in this game. Like they will, because they're going to keep forcing the ball to Devontae Adams or Waller. Like they're going to try and force the ball there, like Derek Carr is going to throw probably more interceptions this year because of his wide receiver talent. He's going to try and get it to Devontae Adams.
Well, see, here's the thing too. And I mean, Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because that's kind of gonna, like, even if we have enough, one of them is gonna. Which one can you live with getting off? You know what I'm saying? He probably would be the guy that you would live with getting off, right? If you had to pick between him, Adams, and Waller, right? I mean, it's an interesting combination they have, because then at the end of the day, you're gonna have to stop the run off of that, and who you're gonna, if you take away Adams, you know what I'm saying, I mean, maybe that's honestly the best way you beat them is you find a way to take away Adams and take away, I mean, you're gonna have to end up picking between the tight end and Renfrow.
Yeah, if you do a pretty good job on everybody, you're gonna create takeaways.
Yeah.
So this is the game. Now that I'm thinking about it, this is a game where Lovie Smith has his ear to Nick Caserio, Because if anybody knows, nobody knows anything about Josh McDaniels, Nick Caserio knows just about everything you could possibly think about how Josh McDaniels operates, what his tendencies are as an offensive coach, what his tendencies are as a head coach. Nick Caserio knows, all the aspects of Josh McDaniels. And I think this is where he gives Lovey some insight.
Yeah.
And I think he's a part of the scheming as far as on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
And I think that, like Bev said, they're going to be able to create turnovers based on the tendencies that Josh McDaniels has. So I think that this gives the Texans an opportunity to, I'm changing my pick mid talking about it, but I feel like I kind of agree with Bab that this may be the game that the Texans go ahead and steal.
Yeah, and I kind of changed my bad. I kind of changed my opinion too, just here. And I mean, see, and this is something too that I just listening to y'all talk. Maybe we're thinking about this shit completely wrong. Yeah. Maybe you don't put Stingley on Adams. Maybe you put him on Renfro.
Yeah.
Maybe you completely take away Renfro. Maybe and then we find a way. You double,
yeah.
Or and then you bracket Adams. And you say, okay, for Adams to beat me, he's gonna have to get 200 fucking yards. I'm gonna make him goddamn have a Calvin Johnson game.
Yeah.
I mean,
but shit. The thing that I think is the most important to me is like they're gonna be so invested in beating Kansas City the week prior on prime time. Yeah. And if they get embarrassed, that's morality way down. You know what I'm saying? Right? If they win, they're going to be ecstatic and they're going to be celebrating that all week. This could legitimately be a trap game. We're going to come and punch them in the mouth regardless. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a win, but I'm cool with,
I mean, no, let's count it as a win. And then to even further, I'm going to just look at this before we move on. I'm sorry, guys, but I just got to see what their run defense was last year. This is the icing on the cake for me every fucking time, Okay, Russian defense. Okay, I mean it was number 20, like 20.
Yeah, not great. Average, a little bit below average.
Yeah,
so yeah, and the guys that they got on the edges aren't world beaters in the run game.
Yeah,
Chandler Jones isn't a great run defender per se.
He's old.
Yeah, he's older as well. And then Max Crosby is not a world beater on the run game either. So, as far as that defensive line, and they don't really have much of anything on the inside.
So if you just pretty much in any one of these games, and then they don't, and then if we have the run game going, I assume that we're gonna have a decent quick game just off of Cooks. Hopefully Mechie's there, Brevin Jordan, and Nico. We should be able to work in the quick game. If we need 3, 4, 5 yards, we should be able to get 3, 4, 5 yards passing the ball. You know what I mean? So their defense it doesn't scare me at all. The thing that scares me about them is if you're in long down in the distance and you're giving this man, he's gonna scheme up pressure, but I feel like it's winnable. I mean, why not? Why not? So I guess we're glad you convinced us to count this as a win.
Hey, so yeah, I'm just kind of like typing up a couple of things that we were talking about just to kind of use them. Like, man, okay. When you if you were to ask the consensus NFL fan that doesn't cheer for the Texans or doesn't cheer for the Raiders, who would win this game? Everyone's saying the Raiders. But then if I were to explain to you what the Raiders have the week prior, and then the way that like what AD was saying, like our general manager worked with McDaniels forever, right? Understands his tendencies and everything. Like, trap game. I really think it's a W. But I'll put whatever you guys want down on this.
No,
we can go with W.
We're going with W.
So, okay, hey,
Okay, so now we have week 8. We're going. This
At
is
home.
Tennessee at home. You know,
If we have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Four.
if we are 4-2,
Mhm.
and the Titans come to Houston,
It's gonna be crazy.
Mhm.
it is going to be absolutely insane. But I think we lose.
Yeah.
Um,
This is the thing. Historically, we played Tennessee better in Tennessee.
mhm,
Historically,
mhm,
than we played Tennessee at home.
right.
We usually, we want to go by Tennessee's. We usually split with Tennessee every year, regardless. Kind of like how Jacksonville has the coast number. With us, it's Tennessee. We always usually split with Tennessee.
Mhm.
So I think that we'll take this loss, but I think going towards the end of the season,
Yeah.
we'll kind of sneak up on them and take the victory then. But as far as right now, week 8, I think that Tennessee is going to come to play.
Mhm,
I think Tennessee, Derrick Henry is going to kind of be in his groove.
mhm.
And this is going to be the Derrick Henry game where he's going to run all up and down the field in NRG.
Well, I hope not.
I know we hope not, but I feel like they're gonna come out and they're gonna have especially if let's say we're 4-2, we're 2-0 in the division, and and the Titans are, maybe they're 2-0 in the division.
Yeah, yeah.
And this could be for the division lead and kind of set a precedent on who's taking a step, as far as leading the division.
Yeah.
So just real quick, Leo, I just wanted to throw this out there. They open against the Giants, and then Bills, Raiders, Colts, Commanders, Colts again, then us.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans might be coming to us.
Oh,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They might have 5 wins coming to us.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just even more reason for them to lose, in my opinion.
Yeah, but okay, but yeah, what do we like? If you had to hang your hat on the thing that we're going to beat them with, what do you think it is?
Well, see, yeah, that would be the thing. I don't have one.
Yeah.
I think, maybe I'm higher on our receivers, today than I was yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm thinking if Mechie comes in and he's good in the slot, you know what I'm saying? I think Cooks is going to be their corner. I love Caleb Farley coming out, but torn ACL, fucked up back, Christian Fulton is good. I'm not high on their corners. I'm not high on their linebackers. I love Jeffrey Simmons. I think Dupree is has the perfect build for an edge. And I think Landry is good. But it's just gonna be a physical game, all in all, and I think that it's like AD was saying, I don't think that the drop off in their weapons from this year to last year is going to be as big as everybody makes it out to be. People are acting like AJ Brown, who I think is just as talented as anybody. They act like he was as productive as fucking Debo was, and he wasn't. You know what I mean? So they get another receiver that can fill a role in Woods. Whenever he comes back, they have another receiver in Burks that can fill a role. They have a very athletic tight end from my alma mater, University of Maryland. And then you got what's it called? I think Tannehill is gonna Tannehill, for good or bad. They added another backup running back. This is a game that like I said, I could see us splitting with them. I could see us getting swept by them. You know what I mean? But as far as how we beat them, you just play physical and you don't beat yourself. And you put yourself in positions to where you give, Cooks and Mechie and Collins a chance to convert and just keep the drives going. That's how you beat them. On offense, it's just the same way you beat, if you can contain the run, you know what I'm saying? If you can contain the run game and keep Tannehill having to be the reason that they convert in drives, that's how you beat them. But can we stop their run game?
And that's crazy because even last year without Derrick Henry, they were still able to run that ball effectively.
Yeah, and then that's another thing. I mean, their offensive line has downgraded in some ways. You know, they lost a guard. I think they lost Roger Saffold. God knows what the fuck is going on at right tackle. I know they missed on the Georgia lineman. Taylor Lewan coming off of a knee injury. I mean, however long ago, you know, can he return to what he was? You know, I mean, that's the biggest issue to me. I mean, their offensive line really did not get any better, and it was already kind of degrading over the years anyway. You know what I mean? Like maybe this isn't the same. I mean, like, you know, you have to dethrone them, but maybe they're not as strong. And I think at the same time, I think that our defensive line improved enough I think our defensive line will be better against the run. I think we have better edges. We have more complementary pieces for Grenard now than we did last year. So I mean, this is a game that I think, you know, I understand why we count it as a loss, but this is a game that I think that is just as winnable as, because I think we're going to split with them anyway. You know, I think we have a good chance of splitting with them anyway. You know? So yeah.
Well, what do we think? What do we think, AD?
I feel like the Titans are gonna come in with an axe to grind, and I feel like the Titans are gonna come in and be the big brother bully type, and knock us off our high horse. We're coming in 4-2 at this point. And I'm like, not right now. Y'all not ready yet. You know, that type of situation. So I feel like the Titans come in and take this win and then we have to also remember too that we're playing another game 4 days later. Yeah. And this game is at 3:00. It's not a 12 o'clock game, not an early game. It's probably going to be done maybe closer to 7 o'clock. And you got to turn around and basically in 4 days play another game and another tough team. You know, I just feel like this is kind of a way. I don't see the Texans winning this game.
Okay.
I think,
I feel like the Texans, if they're 4-2 and they just came off beating the Raiders, they're gonna have a lot of momentum, right? Mm-hmm. But I just, for some reason, I just don't feel like they beat the Titans right here. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think so. Mm-hmm. So we'll put an L right there. All right. Okay, so on to Philly.
We have Philly Week 9 at home.
The only primetime game of the schedule. Yeah. Thursday night football game.
We playing them at home, like you said, Thursday night football, 3 days after playing, 4 days after playing, or however, very short week after playing them there. I'm gonna kick it off, y'all. I think this is a tough ask for us. I think that they have a really solid O-line. We're talking about I think the number 1 rushing attack last year, added weapons. And then we're talking about probably one of the most stout defensive lines against the run up the middle in the whole league. Darius Slay, corner. Good, solid corner. I don't know how I feel about their safeties or second or linebackers. I don't know what the hell Nakobe Dean, what the fuck is wrong with, his health. So we don't know, that. I think that this is just a really bad matchup for us. I think this is just a terrible matchup for us, offensively. I think that if there's a game that, will show us how good Mills is and if he can carry us to victory, I think it'll be this game, because I just don't see us really being able to go in and out physical them. I don't see that at all when you have Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis in the middle, bro, and Josh Sweat on the outside, he's not like a flimsy edge, very long, tall, and 265 pounds. They're going to be good against the run. I think that this is a game that this is probably one of the worst matchups stylistically of the season, in my opinion. So I think the defense will play well in pass coverage. I just think that over time, having to deal with that offensive line and having to deal with that running back and quarterback duo, over time is going to be one of those things that maybe we see remnants of last year when the defense is on the field all fucking game. You know, so I think this is a loss for me. You know.
Go ahead, Bab.
Yeah, so when I look at what the Eagles are coming off of to play us on Thursday night, they're playing the Cardinals, the Cowboys, the Steelers, and then us on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
They're thinking that we might they can finally catch their breath. You know what I'm saying? To play us on Thursday night. They're like, damn, like, holy shit, we're just running a marathon. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. If we're gonna get to run the ball against them, which I doubt it. I on paper it's like very obviously one of the best run defenses in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But the Cowboys and the Steelers will tell us the blueprint for running against them.
Right.
Yeah. And so we look at that and we go, okay, like if we can kind of do what they do to find success against the Eagles, let's just try to copy that formula a little bit. And listen, I know it's something to be said about primetime games in Houston. Mm-hmm. Something always stupid happens, man. Mm-hmm. Something stupid always happens. And it's like, and it could be a good or a bad thing. I'll never forget JJ Watt catching an interception and running it in for a touchdown straight at me, like in a playoff game. You know what I'm saying? Or Clowney batting a screen up in the air, catching it at the 5-yard line for an interception. Or damn Matt Schaub throwing the pick 6 on the first play of overtime. You know what I'm saying? Like always something happens stupid. That'll be the Battle Red game too, right?
Probably so. It probably will be.
It will be something in there.
Yeah. It's a homecoming for Jalen Hurts. First time playing in Houston.
Yeah.
You have a whole bunch of family in the stands. He's going to want to show out. You got and then you have AJ Brown. You got, who was that? Isn't the little short receiver, what's his name, Rager, still there? And
yeah,
you got Devontae Smith. They got tight ends, that are decent.
It all comes down to the thrower.
Yeah. And I think that they're going to put Jalen Hurts in a position to succeed, especially with those weapons. And at this point in the schedule, I think you have to incorporate injuries. And I think injuries may be more affecting us than it would the Eagles. Even if they do have some injuries, I don't think that unless it's at the quarterback position, I don't think they're as affected as we will be if somebody gets injured. So I think, like you said, those Thursday night primetime games, I mean, we don't ever do well in those games as a franchise. I look at it, hell, even that Case Keenum game on Thursday night against the Colts, we got our ass beat. He had those big plays on Andre Johnson, and the Colts came back and beat our ass. So I'm like, we don't do well on Thursday night home games, So I just want to chalk this up as an L, and, we can keep it moving. And we can go to the next set, when we come back.
All right, y'all. We're going to come back with the next 4 games, so stay tuned.